All right, I'm back. My bad. Anyway, so yeah, it was a silver car and it was really fast. So that's the same silver car that helped them, because that silver car had actually you know, caused the truck of crackers to you know, crash. So they escaped that. They're cool or whatever, and then they actually skip to they're in the woods. They're looking for I don't know what's the town called, whatever the little area called, wherever that mansion is, wherever his father is supposed to be at. They've been searching and searching and searching. They can't. Mind you, they get outside to stretch their legs, and they're like, man, you know, they get into it because they're like, look, we know that it's here. Where is it? So George is like, look, we've been circling around and saying the same trees. So finally, Tick gets out the car and Liddy get out the car, and then they hear things in the woods. However, what's his name? 12 pull up. He's a cracker. They he's notorious in there. He'll kill you in a heartbeat. It is what it is. And he tells them, hey, where y'all from? They like, hey, we traveling from Chicago, you know, we don't want no trouble, whatever. He's like, hey, do you know what a sundown town is? Like I explained to y'all earlier, y'all know what a sundown town is. So they like, no, you know, yeah, we know, whatever. He was like, you got 7 minutes or 4 minutes to get the hell out of here, whatever. And he was offended because Tick was smart. He's like, look, can I make a U-turn? He was like, okay, well, can I go south? Okay, I can't go south because by the time 7 minutes pass up, the sun gonna go down. Well, can I go north? He was like, yeah. Can I make a U-turn? No, you a uppity nigga, ain't you? You a smart one, ain't you? So it's like, okay, he gives them a head start. However, when he gives them a head start, yes, he does harass them on the way. Like, he harasses them. And once they get across county lines of where, the sheriff, where his jurisdiction ends, they thinking, whoo, okay, because he was shooting at them, you know, he thinking, whoo, okay, we over with, all right, we saved, we made it out of the county right before the sun came down. Guess what? It's 12. They circling their asses. So guess what? Take them in the woods and they begin to, you know, harass them, ask them more questions. And they're like, no, we didn't rob nobody. We ain't robbing anything. Like, no. So within there, you hear stuff in the woods, you know. And Tick mentioned it earlier in one of the storybooks that these monsters that had like 10 eyes and, you know, the rip you apart and all this other stuff. So guess what happened? Them creatures came, ate all them Caucasians up, ate them up. Okay, Liddy and Tick and the officer, the sheriff, the one, the initial one that's evil hitting, and somebody else end up going into a cabin. You know, so they left poor Uncle George. Ooh, poor Uncle George was out there by himself. So left him or whatever, and they noticed, well, Liddy actually realizes that the monsters don't like light. They can die or whatever, or they don't like light. They don't like light being shot in their eye or whatever. So Uncle George comes, you know, they like, where you was at? Meanwhile, the sheriff and his partner or whatever, other sheriff, they still trying to call shots. Nigga, you is ate up. You can't call no type of shots. You don't even need a gun in your hand. So they try to figure it all out or whatever, and they realize, he's like, hey, what happens when a vampire is bit? Now, mind you, they know all of these stories because of these books. Hold on, guys. They know all these stories because of all these books that they have. Uncle George loves to read as well as Tick. So that is something that they do have in common. That's something that they bond with. So he's like, you know, light and all that stuff, and he's like, hey, if you get bit, you change until you morph into one of them. So yeah, that sheriff, his ratchet behind, he morphs. He starts to morph. While he's morphing, mind you, I forgot that they made Liddy, the sheriff made Liddy go get the car. So Liddy, when I tell you, baby, when she took off running, that's realistic. Us black people, we don't play, okay? We in a horror movie, baby, realistically, we not sitting around for nothing to pop off. We are running. When I tell you she ran through them woods and she did not fall, oh, I knew that this is it. I'm watching it. It's too realistic. I'm watching it. She ain't died. I'm watching it. So, you know, Liddy go get the car or whatever. She shines the light on the monster. You know, the monster gets underneath the ground, and then she makes her way there to the cabin to go and get them. Now, when she goes to the cabin to go and get them, she runs into the monster, you know, that was morphing. He was morphing into a monster, the sheriff. Go. So, that happened, and, the monster ended up killing both of the sheriffs and all of that. You know, it is what it is. So they end up leaving. So when they had left, they end up finding, not when they left. The car was, no, let me go back, y'all. Let me wheel that shit back. So Liddy comes and the car is totaled or whatever. So they have to walk. It was a whistle. That's what I mean to wheel it back. It was a whistle that stopped all of the monsters because they were surrounding the cabinet. It was a whistle. And like a dog calling, like, you know, and then everybody just dispersed. And Liddy and what's his name? Liddy and Tick is like, what's that? So they walk all the way to, and they find the mansion. They find where they were looking for. They find where his father could possibly be. Where these people took his father. So I really don't understand how they lost their memory, but Liddy and Uncle George don't remember squat. Mind you, what's his name do though, and he keeps trying to tell them, hey, I remember what's going on. Y'all don't remember the monsters and all that, because the Caucasian that opened up the door, he all nice and stuff, extra nice, and they asking questions and he acting like he don't know nothing. I only know about this. You know, he know more than what he can tell y'all. But anyway, so we're gonna skip a couple of parts. Fitz is in it. Fitz from Scandal, he in it. That's what's his name. I really feel like it's a cult or something, and they need the bloodline because they want eternal life or whatever. They want eternal life. They want the sons of Adam. Some bull BS. I don't know how that whole thing coincides or whatever, and how Tick Mama is involved. They did say that the man who owned them was really nice to his slaves. He was extremely nice to his slaves. So his mom, I think, was one of Tick's mom was, I think, pregnant with him when she ran from the plantation. When she ran from the mansion, she was pregnant when the mansion had caught on fire, and she was pregnant and she ran. Or that could be his ancestor, I don't know. So yeah, anyway, Fitz is in there. He getting his whole liver taken out, and he looking sickly in the mugger. He looks sickly, baby. So I'm like, dang, you know. So apparently he sacrificed part of himself for these Caucasians to eat his liver, and he wants to go to the Garden of Eden so he can have eternal life or whatever. But he don't even let him know he needs Tick, because Tick is in the bloodline. Tick got the blood. So Tick opened up. I'm gonna skip a couple parts. Uncle George gets shot because they were trying to leave. I did notice that for some reason everybody who was in their own room, like Liddy had clothes that fit her perfectly. Uncle George had all these library books. It's like they put everything that they desired in front of them, and nobody picked it up but Tick. He's like, look, them clothes fit you perfectly. That's not weird to you, Uncle George. You got all them books, Uncle George. That's not weird to you. So they don't remember anything. Come to find out, it's spells and stuff like that. So they don't remember. So they're eating and all that, and Uncle George tell them, hey, we being watched. You might need to watch what you're saying. And they had to be back for dinner. So when they come back, first of all, they went into town, into the village. Now them Caucasians don't like them. The lady, she was guarding the tower, and it's only a tower. So George was like, this is the jail, like this is the only place, you know, it's a jail. She like, nah. She talking mess because she don't like us people. Give them a hard time because the reason why they end up going over there was because Tick heard the whistle. She had that whistle. So they get the woman was like, y'all need to get from around here before the sun go down. Whoop de whoop whoop whoop. And on their way there, they encounter the monsters, and now they're fighting the monsters again. And guess what happens? He hears that same whistle. Here it is. It's Fitz. I'm gonna call him Fitz. Okay, it's Fitz's daughter. She's there on a horse with the whistle, and she's like, yeah, I told you to come before dinner, whoop, 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 before, we have dinner and all this. So instantly, Uncle George and Letty forget what just happened. Tick is like, you ain't see the monsters. They like, nah, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. So then, they get into their rooms, and the woman is like, y'all gotta stay up in y'all rooms, y'all cannot get out. So they can't get out or whatever, so they stay in a room, but all of their desires or fears are in the room. Now in Uncle George's room, I don't know who this woman is, and this is his first wife or his first love. She's there and they're dancing, and Uncle George is like, where you come from, girl? So they dance. She like, dance with me. So they have a dialogue. Then you go to Liddy. Liddy thinks that Tick is the one who came to her room, when in reality that's not Tick, because she ends up finding, now I did notice the Easter egg, it's like on the window, it was like a man, and his thing was a snake, and he was getting ready to enter in the woman. Now that's the picture that's on the window, on the glass thing, and that was what was happening to her. She thinking that it's Tick because she loves Tick, she wants to be with him. I think she's realizing that or something. So yeah, he gets on top of her and all this, and then we switch to what Tick is afraid of, which is he was in the war, and it was the Asian lady who he was fighting. He like, man, I don't want to kill you, because back then chivalry was not dead. They actually believed in not hurting women and stuff. So yeah, he kicks her ass and kills her or whatever. And now while all this is going on, because Liddy see the peen, and the peen is a snake, a live snake, so she gets scared and all this, so they all fight. And Uncle George, he realized, he was like, man, you ain't real, and everything just disappeared. Now mind you, they don't even know that these crackers is on the other door. Like, the door is magic. They can see inside, but George and them can't see outside, so they see what they're doing and all that. So after they fight the demons off, what's her name, the white girl, I forgot what her name is, Fitz's daughter, she freaking she called herself, telling them, hey, we have, no, not the daughter, the maid, whoever that butler, whoever he is. He was like, well, he said he wasn't the butler, but he the butler. He said, y'all gotta come here, it's only men only, so Uncle George was like, I got a plan. I think I know what's going on. I think I know what's up. So they get there, and Fitz and them having a meeting. Of course, they gotta sit on the side or whatever, but apparently it has to be people that's on the bloodline or whatever, and they're the only ones who can adjourn this meeting. So they figure that out or whatever, and he's like, man, everybody get the fuck out. Everybody get out. They like, what? And he's like, y'all need to get up out of here, and that's an order. I'm part of the bloodline. Y'all need me. Go ahead and get up out of here. So Fitz tell him, just because we need you don't mean that you're indispensable or whatever, indisposable, whoop whoop whoop. He like, what? So Liddy, Uncle George, and all of them end up and all of them. It's just three of them. They all end up they all leave or whatever, and while they're trying to exit the bridge, something crashes them. I guess it was the imaginary cell or something, I don't know, but it crashes, and Fitz shoots Liddy. He also shoots George, and he tell him, hey, they both could live if you go ahead and you sacrifice yourself or whatever, because I need to go into Eden to get this eternal life. So during the whole seance and all that or whatever, for some reason Tick was in the middle, and for some reason his chest lit up and all that, and then the garden starts to grow from the arch. Now why, I don't know what's going on, but when Tick started seeing his mama through that arch, a pregnant black woman, a slave or whatever, he turned everything. Somehow He turned everybody into stone. Fist got turned into stone. The other people in the order got turned into stone. There's some occult stuff as well, I believe. But something is telling me that Tick has powers that he don't know that he has. You see what I'm saying? It's something in his blood that he don't know.